Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington, Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, guys. Hold on to your hats because what I'm about to tell you could truly shake up the NFC East and, more importantly, give the Washington Commanders a serious boost heading into the 2024 season. Rumors are swirling around a blockbuster trade that might just be in the works, and it involves none other than Trent McDuffie, the shutdown cornerback from the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, you heard that right. The same McDuffie who's been one of the best young defensive backs in the league, a guy who's been making waves with his coverage skills and game-changing plays, might be packing his bags and heading to the District of Columbia. Sources close to the situation have leaked information suggesting that the Chiefs and Commanders are in serious talks about a trade that would see McDuffie don the burgundy and gold. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would Kansas City, a team with a 12-2 record in 2025 and one of the top teams in the league, want to part ways with such a talented player? Well, it all comes down to cap space and roster management. The Chiefs are currently about $11 million over the cap, a situation that's only worsened by Patrick Mahomes' massive new deal. The team needs to make moves to free up cap space, especially to extend key defensive linemen like Chris Jones and keep their roster competitive. On the flip side, Washington's secondary has been a mess this season. Injuries have decimated the unit, with players like Lattimore sidelined for weeks due to shoulder injuries. The secondary is in desperate need of a true lockdown corner, a guy who can shut down elite receivers and turn the tide of games. McDuffie, with his elite coverage skills, could be just that guy. He's not just a solid corner, he's a shutdown artist, capable of shadowing the best receivers and limiting their impact. His ability to cover at an elite level would instantly elevate Washington's pass defense, which has been a glaring weakness all season. Adam Schefter, among others, has highlighted that the Chiefs are under pressure to make moves before the trade deadline. They're $11 million over the cap, and with Snead healthy again, the team has the depth at corner to consider parting ways with McDuffie in exchange for draft capital. Reports suggest that the Chiefs are looking for at least a first-round pick plus a second-rounder in 2026, a hefty price tag, but one that could pay off big time for the Commanders. They're in a rebuild mode, and adding a young, talented corner like McDuffie could be the piece that finally pushes their defense from good to elite. Now, let's talk about McDuffie's profile because it's truly impressive. In 2025, he's already racked up 4 interceptions, 14 pass defenses, and boasts an 86.2 grade from PFF in coverage. What really stands out is his ability to limit separation, allowing just 0.8 yards per route covered, which puts him in the top 8 among all corners. Since entering the league in 2022, McDuffie has accumulated 8 interceptions, 198 tackles, and 42 pass defenses, making him a versatile and reliable presence on the field. His recent performance against the Raiders in Week 13, 2 pass defenses and no yards allowed on 9 targets, with an interception, showcases his ability to lock down even the most dangerous receivers. And it's not just about stats. McDuffie's intangibles are what make him a perfect fit for Washington. He's got that same shadower style as Patrick Surtain at his peak, with a yardage allowed per route of just 2-3 yards, significantly boosting the secondary's overall efficiency. His presence would not only improve the Commanders' pass defense, but also turn the unit into a formidable force, capable of generating more turnovers, potentially increasing their takeaways by around 11%. And let's not forget the impact on the team's overall performance. With McDuffie paired with Forbes, Washington could create a true lockdown tandem, cutting the completion rate of opposing WR1s from about 64% to just over 50%, according to PFF. Big plays. Those would be limited to the point where opponents would struggle to connect on those deep shots, especially considering the secondary's recent struggles with allowing 262 passing yards per game without Lattimore. This move would be a clear signal that Washington is serious about building a resilient defense, especially as they look ahead to key matchups down the stretch. Their upcoming schedule includes tough opponents like the Dallas Cowboys, with C.D. Lamb surpassing 300 yards this season. The addition of a player like McDuffie could be the X factor in those high-stakes playoff games, giving the Commanders a much-needed boost in coverage against top-tier offenses. Now the Chiefs, despite their success, are in a tricky spot cap-wise. The $11 million over situation forces their hand. They need to make some tough decisions. Moving McDuffie might sting, especially considering his youth and upside, but with the need to extend players like Jones, it's a move that makes sense from a cap management perspective. The Chiefs are prioritizing their offense with Snead returning healthy and are willing to part ways with McDuffie if the right offer comes along, especially with some reports suggesting they're open to high draft picks in return. It's a classic case of a team in win-now mode needing to make strategic sacrifices to stay competitive long-term. For Washington, this trade could be a game-changer. Pairing McDuffie with Forbes would instantly transform their secondary into one of the league's best. We're talking about a unit capable of shutting down WR1s and cutting down big plays, which are often the difference makers in close games. This would elevate their chances in critical matchups, especially against playoff-caliber teams like the Dallas Cowboys, where containing someone like C.D. Lamb could determine the outcome. It also aligns with the team's broader strategy of building a tough, resilient defense that can carry them deep into the postseason. And speaking of the playoffs, the betting odds have already shifted. The Commanders' Super Bowl odds, which were around +15, 0 earlier in the season, have recently moved to +8, 0 on FanDuel. This move signals that Vegas sees the potential for Washington to make a serious run if they bolster their secondary with elite talent like McDuffie. The secondary's ability to cover top receivers in the postseason is crucial, especially when facing teams like the Eagles with A.J. Brown, who's been unstoppable at times. Adding McDuffie would give Washington a much-needed edge, providing that extra layer of coverage to frustrate elite receivers and make life more difficult for quarterbacks. All in all, this potential trade signifies a pivot for the Commanders. They're not just trying to patch up their secondary, they're aiming to build a defensive unit that can be the backbone of a deep playoff run. It's a bold move, especially considering the Chiefs' reluctance to part with such a talented young player, but it's one that could pay huge dividends. McDuffie's arrival would bring a level of consistency, playmaking, and coverage prowess that Washington desperately needs. Pairing him with Forbes and other young defenders would set the stage for a formidable secondary that opponents will think twice about attacking. So what do you think, guys? Is this the move that could finally put Washington over the top? Will McDuffie be the key to unlocking a new level of defensive dominance? The NFL world is watching, and for Commanders fans, this could be the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with hope, resilience, and the pursuit of that elusive Super Bowl title. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Now I want to hear from you Washington fans. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think McDuffie can be the game changer the Commanders need? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. We're in this together, and with moves like this on the horizon, the future is looking brighter than ever.